Going live.
What's happening, all the peeps?
Hey, Pips.
Peoples everywhere. Welcome to the Element YouTube channel.
All right. So
Yeah.
this is a live Q&A on
We need to pull up
YouTube.
the little questions too, don't we?
Oh, yeah. I think they'll come up right here. Right.
Well, don't we have some to read?
Oh, well, the questions, yeah, they're over here. I'll get them. So we're going to do this in case you're just now logging into this live feed. We're going to do this on the podcast this week, but we figured we'd give you guys an opportunity to ask some questions that could be on this podcast this week on this live event.
Yeah. So hit us up if you have more questions.
Yeah, and we've got
So
questions here to
We're
answer.
going to answer some for y'all on the feed here. So first one that we would like to answer for the YouTube community. Thoughts on fitness for hunting, Tyler?
Oh man, I am trying to get more fit right now, actually. So I've been running and doing some squats and doing some body weight push-ups and all kinds of stuff lately. I've been running quite a bit, doing lunges, just trying to get my legs strengthened really. And I would say that I don't love a lot of times the influencers that try to inspire you with making you work out.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
So I would say it is a good thing, though. The more shape that you can be in, the better, because probably makes your mental capacity better. And then it also, I noticed that like when I late in the season, if I go to climbing a tree to hang and it's kind of a rough hang, man, I'll just be like whooped by the time.
Especially after we've killed some stuff and we've been eating cookies.
Yes.
My thoughts as well are I just want to be as light as possible. So right now I've been working out some, but I'm also kind of just doing what we call starvation diet, but it's probably what you would call intermittent fasting more, where like you just try to eat one meal a day pretty much. And my wife thinks it's unhealthy, but it's really probably pretty healthy in the way that we're more designed to do stuff. But
yeah, I would say too.
So it works, and I don't feel bad about it. Right now I'm real hungry. I actually kind of pushed through though, and I feel a lot better. For y'all that are on here, really appreciate you following along and submitting some questions. We're going to answer all the YouTube questions that come in during this at the end. So stick around for that. And then if you actually have to leave early or whatever, this will be on the feed as well.
And it'll be on a podcast here tomorrow. So you can listen to the podcast as well.
Best setup for ground hunting without a blind near bedding.
Do you have a hang on what this question is trying to get to?
I don't really. I think no.
Okay.
I just.
I'll just try to go with
I think that in general, just try to conceal yourself as much and be downwind of the bedding. I'm guessing this is for buck bedding, possibly. So probably try to get between wherever he's trying to head and where he's going, or maybe if you can sneak in close enough, get where you can get a shot as soon as he stands up. I don't know for sure. What do you think?
I like not ground hunting near bedding.
But I like not ground hunting.
If you feel like that's the best choice, and I've been there. I mean, I ground hunted some last year, and I have it pretty much every year. But
you hated it though last year when you were doing it. You were mad about it.
I am. I'm mad about it when I do it. And so I think that I'm more apt to use. A lot of guys like to take sticks and pile them all together, like kind of big wrist size sticks. And I'm more apt to use like smaller things like groundsel bushes and blue stem and like grasses of sorts, switch grasses or whatever you can kind of find around you that's a little more bushy and small, because I feel like big, like wrist size and bigger forearm size sticks kind of stick out once you put too many of them in one spot. They stick out.
Yeah, I agree. I think that honestly, the less disturbance you can make, even if it's natural ground blind, the better. Because imagine, if you will, like if you live in a house, which most of us do, you have a bedroom, and when something's out of place in the bedroom, even if it's like the laundry got moved from the bed to the floor, you notice, right? So I would imagine that, especially in bedding, it's a place that deer are spending a lot of time. If you go in and manipulate that much at all, they're going to know something's up. So you're probably better off just like trying to be real sneaky and find something natural, or just rely on your camouflage or being still,
Or if
because
you
that
know where
matters
the
more than anything.
if you know where the deer's coming from, a big tree could be good,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So
absolutely, man. One of my favorite paintings I've ever seen of outdoor stuff. It's not deer, but it's turkeys. Is a guy with a trad bow, and he's leaning up behind a tree, and there's a gobbler coming this way right here. He's
mhm,
hiding behind that. It's
mhm.
pretty cool.
I
Anyways,
love it. I
yeah.
love it.
Our boy Chris Carter, Quincy's brother.
Y'all didn't know Chris Carter was actually a hunter.
Yeah, he is.
We've since recently kind of figured this out, and
That's right.
he wants to be a part of this hunting celebrity
He's
thing.
into it, man. So he says this two-part question, because he's trying to kill deer, right?
Mhm,
He
mhm.
says, how do mature bucks use the wind? And so how do we use the wind to kill mature bucks? Ooh.
I think mature bucks use the wind as much as they can, but I think depending on how familiar they are with certain spots and areas that they are in, or the time of year, being the
Mhm.
rut, that they, pun intended, throw caution, no throw all, however you say it,
Throw
dadgummit,
caution to the wind.
throw caution to the wind. No, so like I think that most of the time when people talk about this jay hooking and stuff, I haven't seen a lot of it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I
Yeah.
think that every deer is different, and learning the personality traits or just using a trail camera to help figure out how that deer's moving is definitely helpful. But
Mhm.
I mean, like the deer that I killed a buck last year in Illinois on a scrape, and there was an even bigger deer that came in with him, and neither one of them were walking into the wind. They were walking kind of crosswind.
See, I kind of feel like that too. I think that, um, not to contradict you and make people completely confused, but I think that deer are more apt to use the wind in the rut, because they're not walking around trying to smell dudes; they're trying to smell does.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times you're going to find deer walking with the wind somehow in the front 90 or 180 degrees of them, so that they can smell what's in front of them, not because they're like constantly on edge, which they kind of are, but in the rut they really dull that down some. But they're trying to find a girlfriend, right? And they can smell them. Whereas, like what you're saying, if they're very comfortable, feel very safe, say near bedding, like they're liable to walk out with the wind on their butt,
Mhm.
because they feel good about where they're at. They've
Yeah.
been there for 3 or 4 years, and they know that they're pretty safe. So I would say in bedding area, like if you're hunting buck near his bed, you're hunting a buck near his bed, the wind, you need to definitely just be more mindful of where you're blowing your wind, as opposed to what he's going to do, because he's probably going to leave there and go find a scrape or find some food. One of the things, this is a good question, so we have a lot to talk about on
Yeah.
this one, I think, but um,
I feel like it's a perpendicular a lot of times. I feel like they're walking perpendicular to the wind a lot of times.
like it's coming off of one shoulder.
I think
Is that what you're
like if
saying?
they're walking this way,
The wind's
the wind's blowing
Yeah,
this
they're
way.
walking west, and the wind's coming from the
Yeah,
north.
so checking doe bedding in the rut or
Mhm.
whatever. But like I think of the deer that I shot last year, several of them, and I think the wind was like not even close to an issue
Mhm.
for me.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of the thing that we're always thinking too, is just like not blowing our wind at the deer more than how they're using it, right? So
Mhm.
we're just assuming that we're trying to set up downwind of a deer.
Yeah.
Is
This
kind of
is
the
where
way
the
I
deer
boil it
coming
down.
from. Let's make
Yeah.
sure the wind doesn't blow on them until we can kill them.
I think about South Dakota last year. It was
Mhm.
October, or September 30th through October 4th. These deer were moving to food no matter what direction the wind was blowing in the evenings. But we needed the specific wind to be able to hunt it without
Right.
spooking them. And that didn't happen until the 4th or 5th.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. That's enough of that one. Sorry, guys. That's a good question, though, Chris.
There's some good questions coming in on YouTube too. I can't wait to
Yeah.
get to those.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thank y'all for cooperating. Bam said something real funny a while ago, so
Yeah.
we'll get to that. Actually, he's Brian on here, but we know him as Bams. What footwear or process did you use to keep your feet warm? We both kind of have an issue with this, but you specifically kind of have cold feet. So
Yeah, my feet are pretty long.
they're big,
and they get out there where the cold reaches them pretty bad. But I I try not to let my feet sweat too much. Rubber boots hold a lot of heat in. It seems like a lot of times for me. I've got some. Um, I've used the toe heaters before. I don't really love those, especially when I'm walking a long ways. Um, I don't know. I can't remember how I kept my feet cold
I
or
didn't have
warm.
a problem with it this year because I never hunted any real cold days.
I hunted some super cold
Yeah,
days.
you did up in Kansas.
I don't think I ever switched socks.
Mhm.
Just wore big, fake wool socks or whatever.
That's what I think back to 2019 because I did hunt some cold days, and there's two things that I do. I wear those rubber boots a lot just because I feel like they're pretty warm. Um, but the sock switch thing is a big thing for me. I always bring extra socks because sometimes my feet sweat on the way in, especially if you're walking a good ways to your stand. And then two, if it's real cold, it's good to have ample clothing with you because you can just wrap your feet like in the boots and everything. Just wrap a jacket around your feet,
That's
and
a
it
pretty good
helps
idea.
a ton. It
Yeah.
really, really does. I mean, the insulation is insulation no matter which side of the rubber it's on. So
Yeah.
that helps a lot.
Cool. KC, this is a question for you and you only. Which
Okay.
bow, Hoyt or Matthews?
I would say right now, from what I know about this, I would say Matthews, but I don't know a ton about the Hoyts. I feel like when Hoyt came out with RX1 and the RX3, like that was those are some of the best bows out at that point in time. Now I think that V3 is pretty slick, but I would not get the 27. I would not go that short ATA. But I don't know if I would choose either one of those as my like if that was the on or if I had to choose any bow. So that probably wouldn't be what I would go with.
There's some good bows out there.
Oh yeah, almost every bow out there nowadays is a good bow.
Yeah.
So don't worry too much about that. Buy what shoots best for you. What are y'all looking for with a perfect tree stand location for bucks? Scrapes, plant types, which I'm assuming means like forage, trails,
etc. Not extension.
That's
that's a correction. That's a correction that the word program did. Extension. So the perfect tree stand blows wind a lot of times for me. I don't know, perfect tree stand. A good tree stand blows the wind over a creek a lot of times for me, because that automatically is going to set down in the creek a lot of times because the water is cooler. So the wind's going to blow towards the creek, and then when it gets in the creek, it's just going to sit in the creek. Hopefully, that would be a good place, and a place that we do a lot of sitting, especially on Texas Public. And I would say that the downwind side of a trail a lot of times is a good spot for the perfect trail, or a scrape, which he mentions here, scrapes. The perfect tree stand, it just depends on the time of year too, and what stage of the rut is, or what style, if the rut's over, if it's post rut and they're feeding, are you on a and it depends on the place in the country. We could go through all these different variables, so I'm not going to do that. But some of the plant types I like for a tree stand, we like a big oak tree a lot of times. Because they're not too brushy and limby, so you can get up in them fairly easy, and you can shoot out of them fairly easy. But at the same time, they got a few limbs there to kind of break up your outline and stuff, and they're big, so they look like a person kind of.
Yeah, I would say more for tree type than species. There's one tree on a WMA that I've hunted before. I hope to get back to this year. That is pretty crotchety, is what we like to call it. So like trees, what they do, like a bigger, more mature tree will tend to have large trunk and then go up to a certain spot and then fan out at the top. And if you can get to that height and it not be super high, like that one is like 18 foot up, and I'm telling you, you could flip upside down up there and a deer would not see you. It is just, it's impenetrable. And it's just perfect for like hunting in a saddle, because you just put your saddle and your little platform there, the platform's like right at the base of that crotch, and you put your saddle tether on one of those limbs, and then you've just got like 5 shooting lanes all the way around you, but you still can move around because you have something blocking the deer's view of you. And it's just bad to the bone.
Yeah, I would say plant types are not super important unless you're hunting a food source like a persimmon or a white oak, or a red oak later in the season, or
winter
a
wheat.
Shumard,
if you're hunting near,
that's true. I guess agricultural plant
whatever.
types.
Yeah.
So plant types, being early season, like really September, probably is beans and alfalfa and stuff like that. Alfalfa can last into October. Winter wheat tends to be better later in the season. Corn can be good October and November, from what I understand. And later if there's.
I feel like, not to go too far on this, but alfalfa is probably the most underrated agriculture type for deer
Mm-hmm.
because no one talks to corner beans, dude. Alfalfa's it.
It's pretty good stuff.
We got a camera on alfalfa right now, and it's blowing up with some pretty good deer. So
Ohio.
That's what I have to say. Early October in Illinois. What are you looking for?
Monster bucks,
bucks, gigantic deer,
giant deer.
We haven't hunted early October in Illinois, but we have an associate there. Our good buddy Eric Gentry, who's going to be with us a ton this year, running camera. He has hunted early October in Illinois a lot, and he says that that's when you're going to have the transition from beans to acorns, and he probably says acorns. But that's a fast thing to happen.
World's closed.
That's right. That's as he said. It's a quick transition. So I would just from the knowledge that I have from other people, I would say, be ready for that acorn drop.
Yeah. So maybe hang trail cameras there before October, and then especially if it's like a cell camera, you could probably pick up some deer there early on, moving to the Oaks. Let's see. KC, compare Texas public to other public you've hunted.
Hard. I say this a lot, and I don't mean to sound like everybody else in the country, but I do. Texas is hard. There's other places that are hard. A lot of public land is hard, but I do think that with our low deer densities that we have in East Texas, paired with just the pressure of hunting from people, when you hunt Texas public land and you just develop some level of decency at it, I'm not saying good, but just being able to do it to some proficiency, it makes you a ton better when you go elsewhere. So I haven't hunted as much or as many places as you have, but I've scouted just as many as you have. And I would say, you brought this up a while ago, so we'll say two different things here, I would imagine. But just like in recent memory, Missouri was kind of probably fairly similar to where we were. There's bigger bucks there, and the terrain isn't exactly the same, but there is some of that creek bottom type stuff that we hunt there. And I felt like the deer densities were pretty close. There wasn't a ton of deer in the area of Missouri we were in, at least. What about you?
Ohio was a pretty tough map scout challenge, honestly.
It was.
I even feel like the camera is underperforming a little bit there. That was a difficult one. Lower deer densities than I expected, maybe. I don't know. We'll continue to see, as we go. And everywhere else seems to be quite a bit better.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just I haven't been to Florida, and there's probably a reason. You know what I mean? It's like I probably will try to hunt in Florida one day. Hopefully, I'd like to hunt every state that has a whitetail in it, but it's not even close to the top of priority list. So there's a reason that I haven't, there's a reason I've been to states that I've been to hunt. And it's usually because there's deer and or big deer, lots of deer and or big deer there.
Yeah. Tyler, how long did it take you to get comfy in a saddle?
Depends on which instance you're talking about.
I can tell you this, deer hunting saddles are way more comfortable than a horse saddle to me. I can promise you that.
Yeah, for real. The first time we hunted out of saddles was we were hunting 95 degrees. We were hunting saddles that were we were hunting in 95 degrees in saddles, and we didn't know how far.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
We didn't know how far our tether rope needed to be out, so we had them way out, and KC did a just straight up chimpanzee around the tree, smoked me in 95-degree temps, and then we shot a hog out of them. So, but I think it doesn't take long. It takes a few sits to realize kind of the things you need to do. If you tinker and you try to use logic and physics and stuff.
Now it's just second nature to me. I think as far as like, if comfort means actual feeling good and like comfortable, not hurting, I don't think it takes very long at all. Just a couple of little adjustments.
Especially with the saddles we're running this year.
Yeah,
they're, I mean, truly, honestly, I've tried 3 different saddles on. By far, the most comfortable saddle, which is the Cruiser saddle.
And actually, we tried 4 because we've tried the 2 different types from Cruiser, the Archon and the XC, and everybody's different. But it seems like most of the time that XC is the way to go.
Yeah, it's just kind of one and the same, pretty much. They're both comfortable.
And if you're in Texas, by the way, we're
Yes.
doing a scouting day / saddle expo and everything else. We're all going to meet up and hang out on the 14th. And Chad from Cruiser Saddles is going to come down that day and do everything with us. And he's going to show us all about saddles and all kinds of stuff.
He'll have saddles you can put on and stuff, you know.
If you want to test that stuff out, you want to come hang out with us, go to our website, theelementwild.com, and go sign up for that. It's in our shop or whatever. You can go there, and you also get a Element t-shirt whenever you show up for that as well.
Right.
So check that out. Let's see. How do I kill as many bucks as y'all did last year? So as a team, we killed quite a few. Tyler killed way more than me.
Be a bum.
Yeah, be a bum for sure.
Have no money. Spend the money you have.
Figure out a way to work 9 months of the year, and that would be ideal.
Be willing to have arguments, but to kind of diffuse them to the best of your abilities.
Sounds like what most of us do anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we just are blessed to be able to do what we do. And honestly, OnX was a big partner of ours last year and is this year as well. And the ability for us to do those Map Scout challenges through their partnership has been a big help in us understanding deer. So if you want to kill as many bucks as we did last year, you could watch the Map Scout challenges and learn, I guess, kind of how we scout. But I can't promise you nothing. I can't promise you'll kill a single deer, but if you watch a bunch of those, hopefully you'll get better and feel a little more confident about what you do. And then, go don't hunt in, East Texas too much. That's a good way to kill more than one deer.
Yeah.
This guy just searched ridges and benches and didn't find any fresh sign in mid-July. Is it worth focusing on those ridges and benches during the season?
I think short answer would be yes.
Yeah.
But it is going to be relative to what's around too. I mean, if for some reason that ridge or bench is isolated and doesn't have any other deer habitat around it or any food around it, it might not be. But in general, those are good places to look. I think you find the saddle in that ridge, and if it's not got heavy hunting pressure, it's a good place to be.
Yeah. I would say the keyword is fresh sign in mid-July. There's probably not going to be a whole lot of that. So just don't expect that, and maybe you mean fresh sign as in stuff from, rubs from this year as opposed to last year. And I understand. So I'm not trying to make you feel bad or whatever, but definitely not going to be very fresh looking, even if it was made in November by the time mid-July hits. So just keep that in mind. And also hunting pressure after about a few days of that can really change things. So definitely could be something to focus on in early November when deer are moving from where they currently are because of hunting pressure.
Yeah. Another feetworm question, which we kind of pretty much covered that.
Yeah.
So top 3 YouTube channels, Tyler.
Dude Perfect. We've been watching a lot of Dude Perfect around my house. They're from Texas, and I've known about them forever. I just haven't really watched their stuff, and my kids started watching it, and I was like, man, it's pretty funny, man. It's pretty wholesome, clean content, something you can put on at the house when the kids are around and stuff too. And I think also Midwest Whitetail is one of my tops. As far as hunting goes, I watch a lot of that. And my third one, can you go first?
I'll give you a couple. Yeah, you can think about it. So for me, a ton of it's I'm not going to say Midwest again because that's one of my favorites, but Tyler just said it. So to just give y'all more options, I like gardening stuff and I like Bible stuff. So I'll give you one of each of those. I watch a ton of fig videos on YouTube. So Ross Ratty is who I watch a lot on YouTube for figs. I watch here lately. I've been watching a lot of Mike Winger, who is Bible thinker, I think, on his podcast.
In that?
Winger.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I got a little bit of the nostrils today, so I have a hard time with pronouncing my G's. But he does a really good podcast, real good YouTube channel as well about Bible topics. And then a hunting one for me, not Midwest Whitetail. That's going to be kind of tough. Do you have your third one? I need to look and see.
I got a bunch of honorable mentions that I'll go with, and you may one of these may be yours. Chris B is a good hunting channel, man. Tyler and the Tribe's got a really pretty good channel too.
Cool. Hey, there we are, right there. This Inception.
I also like listening to, as far as podcasts go, the Unashamed podcast quite a bit, and so I watch that a lot because you get to see their interactions and stuff.
That's the Duck Commander guys.
Yep, Duck Commander guys do a podcast. It's really good. They preach the gospel quite a bit, so I like it.
So another one, hunting related. This will be my third one. Is John Lusk, who we actually just had on the podcast. He does a ton of gear review stuff, specifically broadhead and bow related. So he does a ton of broadhead reviews and shoots them, and really does a really good job with that. Go check out that podcast if you haven't, because it's really good as well. And then John, Lusk Archery Adventures is my third one for sure.
We're about to here in just not too long. We're going to get to these YouTube questions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment in the section right there, live section, so that you can get. We're going to try to answer as many of them as we can. May skip a few. And may not, some of them may not pertain. But anyway, KC, favorite tree stand snack?
I
have
a bunch of stuff I like. Pea bottles are on the bottom of the list for sure.
but you have tasted them.
Yeah, don't just pee on the ground. So I eat a ton of trail mix. I really like trail mix a lot.
Like a metric ton.
I'm having a hard time thinking about tree stand snacks because I feel like I snack more in the like when we're doing elk hunts and stuff. But I eat Nutter bars sometimes. Those are really one of my favorite things.
What's a Nutter bar? Like an actual Nutter butter bar?
No, like a Nutty bar or a Nutter bar or whatever they're called. They're chocolate with peanut butter in the inside. There's two of them in the sleeve.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not a Nutter butter. Those are good.
I never get those, but when you have them at camp, I hammer
so
them,
good. They're the best, man.
So good.
It's high calorie, you know. And then I also like savory things too, whatever you want to count, breakfast tacos or whatever. I don't know. I don't think I have like a favorite.
Pop-Tarts, 100%.
Yeah, you eat a lot of Pop-Tarts. That's true.
Blueberry and cherry would probably be my tops. And then I pretty much like every flavor.
I tell y'all this much. The Nature Valley granola bars that everyone eats.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
I love them, but they're so noisy.
It's the loudest tree stand snack.
The wrapper's loud. They're loud in your mouth, and you're trying to eat them. You can't hear things.
Yeah, and if the guy's sitting in the camera seat next to you trying to video, he can't hear either. It's
right.
That loud.
It's bad. What bags do you carry your sticks in? I wore that. Is it over there?
Walmart sack.
I wore a sick tool belt last year. I used that pretty much all season, and I used those single step things, so they fit really nicely in there. This year, I'm probably going to experiment with a couple different types of sticks. And I might have to change bags or might not. I don't know. What about you?
The Sitka tool belt is what I used. I actually didn't carry my steps very much in or on the bag. I just carried them in my hand. I don't know. Like there was a few times I hunted pretty far in. Like South Dakota, we walked probably close to a mile to get in the day that we both killed. But I just carried them in my hand. It's not that big of a deal. I don't feel like, especially if I'm only carrying 3 sticks, which I did a lot this year. And so, yeah.
You're not one sticking this year?
No, not much one sticking for me. I'm not too good at the persuaders and all those things. So yeah, I don't really carry. I did use that Sitka. These are bags they gave us. So it's just when you have a nice bag given to you, you typically use it. It's like, it's functional, it works. But what is that called? Cargo box, maybe something like that. It has these wings, so I just like strapped them on top of the sticks. So yeah, did that. Out of all the guests on the podcast, I appreciate that you used an S on the end of guests. Who is your favorite?
That's tough because it's hard to like think way back, right? And we just talked about John Lusk, so I'm not going to say him because I like that guy a lot. I said, but for recently, the podcast we did with Isaac Smith at Vector was actually really, really good. So Isaac, we're shooting Vector arrows this year. Love them. When we do get to shoot, bows. But
I shot them the other night.
Yeah, I like the components. They tune super good. They're all great tolerances. And Isaac is a guy about our age. He's a believer and is just doing a real good job running a good, honest business. And what's cool about Isaac is that, he's a normal dude. He's not really trying to be like up in the industry and stuff. And he wants to talk about hunting and tactics and just have a great time doing it. And I like his story about shooting that deer from the ground on that bedding island was just had the bone, like it's just so cool, man. Anyways, we jive real good. We actually were on the phone with him earlier today. And so I'm going to say in recent, Isaac would be my choice.
Nice. What about your least? Oh, I'm just kidding.
I can tell you, they don't get aired. Possum Grin.
Possum,
for sure.
That was a pretty bad one.
Yeah.
Man, for me, my favorite guest, probably Jesse Griffiths.
Oh, that's hard to beat too.
But I mean, dude, there's a lot that are in that same vein, My favorite dude to podcast with is you, for sure. But Jesse as a guest was pretty hard to beat, especially now that we kind of know him pretty decently well. Yeah. We have a pretty good jive going on. We get on the podcast.
Thought I was going to go ahead get to eat it, die, Dewey tonight, but that's not going to work out.
Oh yeah, you got to leave.
Yeah, so I'm headed to San Antonio for about 18 hours this evening after I teach class tonight at church. So 5-hour drive. At the very best, we leave at 8 p.m. Not looking good for me. So y'all keep me in your prayers this evening. How do you keep your not a soul inside? San Antonio like a zombie. How do you keep your phones charged? Oh, by the way, I have something to show y'all. We by no means have an endorsement or anything with these folks, but this is a power bank from Anchor.
Anchor is spelled Anker, kind of like Acorn, but different.
Yeah, and they're a good deal. So this thing takes about a day to charge, and it'll charge an iPhone like 10 times or more, and you can charge a camera with it. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. So
they run to the stand with us pretty much
all the time. Yeah, so. And the cool thing about these is they're not affected by cold weather. It doesn't seem.
Yeah, so they do well.
As cold as it doesn't matter. Like other batteries, cold weather's
when you get in at night, throw it on the charger on the wall and let it rock and roll.
All right, and that's Tyler and I have the same answer on that. So that's a good question. So to the YouTube questions. Hello, dudes, Buckslayer. Jimmy Bradley, is the new Cruise, I'm guessing he meant Cruiser, probably autocorrected for him, worth the $600 package? I don't know for sure what's in the $600 package.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I can tell you that it's probably like a full setup and a platform. So for the most part, all saddles are going to cost about the same. So you just need to find what is the most comfortable for you and what works the best for you. I can tell you it's hard for me to say anything bad about any saddles, really, because they're all pretty good. The Cruisers are very comfortable, though, and that is one of the things that they will have probably up on most other companies. And then after that, it's just me telling you that, Chad's a good guy, and he's a great guy to deal with. He's doing his best to have everything made in-house in America. I mean, they're even using American steel for the platforms and stuff, which is pretty hard to make, or I guess aluminum. Sorry. But anyways, metal. And if that package includes the platform, which is called the Seeker, right? The Seeker platform. I know they're shipping a bunch of those out right now because they just got a whole bunch more made finally. And that thing is legit cool. Yeah, like it's huge. It's not huge, but it's big. It's big enough for Tyler's foot, and that angle on the front side is actually real nice.
Yeah.
So I would say if you have the money to spend and you think a saddle is going to absolutely increase your lethality, if I can use a fancy podcasty word, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think just it depends on how much moving around you're going to do. And it is worth it if you're going to be trekking in quite a bit during the season, or if you just make decent money and you want to have something that's very functional, then get a saddle.
Okay, so Nomadic Slovak, which I think he is in Europe. I don't know for sure, but he says get a Shepherd Mallions if possible, make you get up to 5 miles a day in no time.
Is that like one of those breather masks?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look and see what that is. We'll Google that.
Probably later. A shepherd's pie.
Dude, I love shepherd's pie.
That's good stuff.
What up, gang? Let me know when y'all come back to OK. Got some slobs on cam. That's what I like to hear, bro.
Be there anytime.
Ghillie suit for the ground. He said ghillie suit for the ground, no question. I'm sure it probably works. Sooner or later, you just have too much gear, and I'm kind of at that point. I don't really want more.
Seems like my bow could get hung in that thing.
I know, it's kind of weird. Nice hat, SA is what Chadwick Rice says, and he spelled SA the American way. Blinds stink. Ground hunting better than no hunting. Absolutely, that is a good point. Bam says, been hunting a massive deer all bow season, and some dude dressed like Tyler smokes him on opening day of gun season.
Is this real life?
No, he's just making a joke.
Okay.
Uh, you guys seem to do a fair bit of rattling. Okay, real question. Thoughts on rattling with something like the black rack versus real antlers? I haven't used any fake antlers, so you've messed with some of that stuff a little bit, right?
That black rack looks kind of hideous to me. I don't know.
It's weird.
I think that if a deer is fired up enough, it's almost like we've rattled them in with sticks.
We rattled him with random stuff in Iowa.
Yeah, I was tying up sticks. I mean, so I think I don't know. Like, obviously, a stick has a sound that a deer has heard before, but a black rack might be a little bit tinny or plasticky kind of sounding compared to the real deal. But I think from a distance with wind, that it could work just fine. It just depends on the deer's demeanor, and it just depends on all the weather factors and stuff too.
I understand a rattle bag because it's small, but like that black rack is kind of taking up the same amount of room as a regular set of antlers. So why not just bring in regular ones if you got some? We actually have a video on our channel that not a lot of people have watched, and they should. It's called Monarch. It's one where Justin Wright, who's a friend of ours, shoots a giant buck, and he uses something called the pack rack, which is just a little tiny thing. It's kind of cool. But y'all should go watch that video.
I think there's a little, there's more realism in the real antlers, and there's a little deeper tone. But I've also heard from a pretty reliable source that the smaller, higher pitch stuff carries better and cuts through the wind, I guess.
That was on Martin Drew on one of our podcasts.
That's right. I think that's who we heard from.
Okay. How many arrows do you put through the bow per day leading up to the season? Do you shoot year round? I don't know, man. It depends on how much time I have. I've had years where I've shot like probably 200 a day.
I shot a lot last year,
and I haven't shot very much at all this year. And I'm not saying do that. However, you know yourself and you know your equipment, so do whatever you think is best. I will say this: I would like to shoot more, and I think honestly, shooting before the season matters as much, but no more than making sure you shoot during the season. Because there's nothing worse than being like real busy trying to hunt a ton and then realize it's been 3 weeks since you've even shot an arrow. That's a bad deal.
Yeah, especially when you're crawling around the plains for those 3 weeks and your bow gets out of tune.
Yeah. He said he's got an ulcer on the bottom of his feet. Not good. Interesting setup and look. Thanks, Cody Brown. He likes the way we look. Have y'all hunted random WMA? Let me just say that we have. If you've been there, we've been there. That's the new plan.
There's a couple WMA questions.
Have you ever hunted this one? Yeah. Go check it out. Another.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm fixing to record a hip hop video.
Oh, good. How often do you hunt the same tree spots? Do you come back to them throughout the year, or are you always on the move? This is a good question because that's got some variables. Last year, I think about a spot that I hunted a ton the last 2 weeks of deer season in Texas because I was kind of out of time, and that was by far the best encounters I was having in the same spot. So it's kind of like, well, we're pushing it towards the end of season. Why not just burn this thing out for everything it's got? So I hunted not really the same stand, but the same, at least, I don't know, 10 acres or so, probably, pretty much for 2 weeks straight, skipping some days in there, but probably 10 hunts, something like that. If we are in a different state and we're on a trip, I think on the move is the way to go. I think South Dakota last year, we didn't hunt the same place twice.
Yeah. We also had a lot of different winds. That's one thing that probably changes things for me is like, I killed a deer called One-Eyed Jack. I hunted 5 days out of basically the same stand for him. And I think if you've got a pretty foolproof entry access, you're keeping the wind off the deer and maybe even like out of the woods for the most part. Then I say if you've got pictures of deer in that area that you want to shoot, then keep going back. And especially if you continue to see pictures of deer, throughout the days while you're hunting there or whatever. We do hunt the same like trees a lot, but like throughout the season in different areas. So like we may hunt early October or mid-October in a spot on Texas Public, and then we'll come back and be hunting in December, early December or something like that. And usually that's because we've gone in and we've scouted these areas and we found out that this spot is the best spot to kill a deer on this parcel, or in this particular area on this parcel. This is the tree to kill them out of. So we feel pretty good about it. And usually if we see deer behave the way we want them to, they don't wind us, then it all worked, right? You just didn't have the right deer come by. So I'd say, those are kind of some of the factors that would help you to decide whether to continue hunting the same exact spot.
That's a good question. How do you think the polar vortex in February is going to affect the acorn crop and deer this season?
Zach Farrenball,
I know.
it?
Yeah.
I don't, good question, Zach.
You talked about this a while ago.
Yeah. I am not seeing very many. I've seen a lot of does with no fawns. I've only seen one fawn this year, but I've seen a lot of does. And we just did a trail camera survey video we're going to put out here pretty soon. And lots of does in those trail camera pictures. I mean, groups of 3 and 4 does and no fawns. And I don't know for sure that they can't get in to where this corn is, but we didn't even see them on the outside or anything, really. We didn't notice them. So I kind of worry that those had a lot of miscarriages during the polar vortex this year. As far as acorns go, what do you think?
I know we saw a ton of acorns on a willow oak out there a while ago. I think that the trees that are sheltered inside of wooded areas hardly had any effect. But I know that trees that are standalone or on the north or west sides of timber stands, they got hammered hard. Like there's a red oak in my front yard that was a huge red oak, and like it hardly had any leaves on it at all because all the exterior branches died. So I think that there will still be, like, I don't think massive crops of acorns got affected, but I think that like certain locations got affected.
Yeah.
As far as the polar vortex goes, I don't know about the deer itself. I mean, Tyler makes a good point, but I haven't really seen too much on that.
Casey's getting tired because he hasn't had food all day.
Yeah. Somebody say that already?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna fly through these last ones. How do you deal with hogs? A major problem that northern states don't have. Box them out.
Yeah. You got a good point on that too. Build a pen. Shoot them when you can. Learn to live with them. I mean, we had problems with them last year on public land, running deer off.
Yep.
And it was it's not fun, but I don't know. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Situational. What tree arm do you guys use when saddle hunting? We're gonna mess with that a little bit. We've been using 4th arrows for a while. We're gonna use some more of their other stuff this year too. Can pig behavior affect the rut?
We're gonna be messing with a triple arm this year a little bit. We've been using just a double arm, which is like a single joint or whatever, and then place it goes in the shoulder. And they're kind of long. They're hard to get under your bridge. So we're going to see if this triple arm is better. I don't like the triple arm because it doesn't have a lot of control unless you're actually like grabbing the camera body sometimes. And still, it's kind of can do a lot of this stuff, which you can't see unless you're watching a YouTube video. But the double arm has more control for me when I'm self-filming. So, but we're going to try the triple arm because I think you can go into the bridge, and we'll see. We'll let you know more about that.
Yeah. The pigs affect the rut? I would say no. Deer are going to breed no matter what, but they can affect your hunts. What foods do bucks switch to post-rut? The best thing I can think of is winter wheat is a thing around here. If you're talking about Texas. Oh, yeah, rut in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, winter wheat around here is probably a big deal.
Also red oak acorns like willow oaks, swamp oaks. Those tend to be a December food source we've seen in the past.
Let's answer this one. That way we get out of the way. Casey, how do you feel about Texas joining the SEC?
Sorry.
Bring them on. I will punch them in the mouth. Let's go. Okay.
Also, as far as late season Texas food sources, I just wanted to mention privet berries we've seen been hammered, and we also have seen honeysuckle get hammered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Outdoor Roads has a question. Haven't seen any hogs on public in Florida last year, but could not get away from the bears. Luckily killed 4 bucks. All right, that's not a question.
Wow.
You didn't ask any questions. Are those actually real coordinates you're showing in your videos? I mean, I suppose if they're coordinates, they're real. I don't know if they're the actual locations, but
I don't know. Is he talking about the Map Scout challenge we
I don't
just
know.
released?
I don't think we showed any coordinates in that, did we?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I mean, we show everything in the Map Scout challenge. So
Yeah.
if that's what you're talking about, for sure.
How do you talk your old lady and letting you go out of town and hunt all the time? I don't talk her into it. Tell her what I'm doing.
He's got a young lady, actually, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I think that's it's definitely something that you are going to have to encounter and figure out what to do, because everyone's old lady is different.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's about gonna wrap us up. Thanks for all the questions, guys. You can continue submitting through any of our social media platforms and the DMs or the message inbox. You can also email to us the website, which is another place that you can find your ticket to go scout the Hagerman and hang out with Chad Rice at Cruiser Saddles here in about 2 weeks. And then also make sure that you're subscribed if you're here on YouTube doing this thing with us. And if you're on the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well if you're a new listener. We appreciate all you guys. And remember, this is your element.
Live in it.